Fact: the coronavirus, COVID-19, originated in China. Fact: there are compelling reasons the world should be investigating whether the virus originated in a bioresearch facility affiliated with the People's Liberation Army, the umbrella term for the Chinese military. Fact: there are journalists who are frantic to avoid associating this global scourge with China. They fear being branded racist if they tell the truth. Or they are apologists who are affiliated with the 1% who have big money tied up in China. More on all of that in another commentary. We ought to be calling this the Chinese Communist pandemic. I'll explain why. Hollywood has made several biodisaster movies over the years. They've shown just how bad things can get.
Ho! Ho! Ho!
Oh my God.
So we have a virus with no treatment protocol and no vaccine.
You had a seizure this morning, Beth.
Does she have a history of seizures?
No.
Allergies?
Your town is being quarantined.
We got 19 dead. We got 100 more infected. It's spreading like a brush fire.
What are you talking about?
If one of them's got it, then 10 of them have got it now. And if one of them gets out of Cedar Creek, we have a very interesting problem.
In the real world, there is a lot of misinformation floating around about the origin of the coronavirus. We don't know yet where it came from and how it entered the human transmission train. But it's vitally important for the world that we do our best to find out. Let's consider some things that are known. There is no evidence to support right-wing conspiracy theorists who claim the virus is a Chinese biowarfare weapon. And there is no evidence to support politically correct China-fearing reporters and editors claiming the bioweapon theory has been thoroughly debunked, that the virus is a totally random act of nature. The pandemic virus appeared in Wuhan, China in December. Some say it actually started showing up in November, but the iron-rule Chinese communist dictatorship rushed to keep a lid on the truth. This past New Year's Eve, they told the world there were a series of pneumonia-like cases in Wuhan. But before that, Chinese security was aggressive against domestic whistleblowers, like Dr. Li Wenliang, an ophthalmologist who was silenced by the Chinese police and later died from the coronavirus after supposedly getting infected by a patient. 2 citizen journalist whistleblowers shot phone video of victims crowding hospitals. They have simply disappeared. Let's get one thing clear up front. Communist China regards itself as Communist China. Xinhua, China's state-run news agency, posted a story on March 12th that began as follows. The Communist Party of China, CPC, has shared its experience from China's fight against COVID-19 with political parties around the world, bolstering its efforts to aid countries in stemming the virus's spread. Xinhua referred to the country as the Communist Party of China. Wuhan and military bioresearch have been intertwined for decades under various institutional names. The CIA and the Pentagon know it. They've known it a long time. In 2011, James Clapper was the DNI, Director of National Intelligence under President Obama. At a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing by Senators Carl Levin and Joe Manchin, they quizzed Clapper regarding which country he viewed as the greatest threat to the United States.
Which country represents to you that has the intent to be our greatest adversary? Has the capabilities? I know you've gone through it, but who has the intent?
Probably China.
China. So Donald Trump's right.
That was 9 years ago. Trump, despite China's lying and deception about the virus, recently praised Chinese dictator Xi Jinping for doing a very good job with a very, very tough situation. A veteran of what used to be known as the U.S. Air Defense Command told me Wuhan has been on the United States nuclear strike list for years, dating back at least as far as the Vietnam War era. If America got into a nuclear war with China, Wuhan Institute of Virology would be among the first places reduced to rubble by a U.S. intercontinental ballistic missile. The intelligence services of U.S. allies agree China is involved in biowarfare research despite the denials. They keep it well hidden and top secret. In 2015, China built the Biosecurity Level 4 lab in Wuhan. That same year, the Israeli Defense Forces Journal of Defense Studies published an article about Chinese biowarfare capabilities. It was authored by Danny Shoham, a military intelligence specialist. He has studied the biological weapons capabilities of the PLA, or China's People's Liberation Army. Shoham makes it clear the intelligence services of Israel, the United States, and other Western powers believe China maintains a highly secret bioweapons program. Wuhan has been identified as part of it. Shoham's China analysis points at 12 facilities affiliated with the defense establishment, plus 30 facilities affiliated with the PLA that are involved in research, development, production, testing, or storage of BW. BW is short for biological weapons. Over the years, Communist China has insisted it has not produced and does not have a stockpile of biological warfare weapons. But consider this. Lethal pathogens don't have to be repurposed as offensive weapons to be researched for military purposes. That research can be defensive in nature, yet go right to the edge of weaponizing a dangerous pathogen. Defending against a weapon usually means you know how to make it. Military bioresearch can explore how the genome of a virus might be manipulated to give it new characteristics. Bioweapon research can explore how a virus genome might be modified so it might be prone to infect certain ethnic groups, such as the Muslim Uyghurs who are hated by the Chinese ruling regime. China is well known for pursuing so-called dual-use products and systems. Dual use means something can be used for civilians or the military. A truck is a good example. It can haul goods for consumers, or it can haul ammunition and weapons for the military. An ominous dual-use biotechnology is called CRISPR. In 2018, a Chinese scientist announced he had created 2 genetically modified human babies using the CRISPR gene editing technique. The fear is not just cyborg soldiers. A recent article in the Australian Air Force Air University notes CRISPR technology could be used to make killer mosquitoes whose bite could be fatal. The People's Republic of China is understandably secretive about bioweapon research, but they have a long history with biowarfare. In World War II, Japanese Unit 731 conducted horrific pathogen research on Chinese prisoners. They injected victims with strains of plague and other deadly organisms. Japanese war films showed military surgeons engaging in vivisection on live Chinese. Vivisection means they cut them open. Bluntly, with no anesthetic, they sliced open fully awake Chinese and removed their infected organs for evaluation. China has never forgotten the biowarfare atrocities of Japan in World War II. Communist China's own studies, articles, and essays by and for the Chinese military cast doubt on the regime's denials about biowarfare. In 2015, the PLA Daily, the official newspaper of the Chinese military, ran a story headlined, "Biotechnology will become the new strategic commanding heights of the future military revolution." The body of the story says, biological crossover technology will provide a new source for the leapfrog development of weapons and equipment. That was in 2015. That same year, the Wuhan Institute of Virology built a BSL-4 Biosecurity Level 4 lab, a global standard for the most stringent security level of bioresearch labs where dangerous and lethal pathogens are studied. The high-security lab is about a half-hour's drive from the popular Wuhan seafood market. China has many markets where live wild animals are for sale to consumers. The animals are killed on site, butchered, and blowtorch roasted in front of the buyer. A video shows a young woman nibbling on the wing of a dead bat. Snakes and rats are for sale too. For Western sensibilities, the worst of China's live animal markets is the slaughter of live dogs. Dogs are apparently captured by any means necessary, taken to the market where they are slaughtered, skinned, gutted, and blowtorch roasted for consumers. The stomach-curdling oddity of these markets is that Chinese officials have implied the virus was in a bat for sale at the Wuhan market. The Wuhan Institute of Virology is believed to have dozens and dozens of bats in captivity for pathogen research. In 2005, the lab participated in 2 studies which revealed coronaviruses similar to SARS in Chinese horseshoe bats. Like the current pandemic, the SARS outbreak originated in China. As noted earlier, accusations of China weaponizing the coronavirus may go too far. Most major militaries have concluded biowarfare bugs are too unpredictable as weapons of mass destruction. But what if the coronavirus came from a Chinese military lab and it wasn't meant to be a weapon? Here's a theory, and let's underline that that's what it is. What if some greedy worker at the Wuhan Institute of Virology saw a chance to make a buck? What if he or she decided to cash in on the live bats they had in deep quarantine by taking them to the Wuhan market and selling them? That's not a random act of nature. It's a world-class crime. And it would explain how deadly pathogens traveled from a Chinese military biowarfare lab to a busy public market, then out into the world's population. The coronavirus has killed thousands, sickened millions, and wrecked the economies of many countries. China could be sued and sued big for damages in the trillions of dollars. The People's Republic of China might go bankrupt if the nations of the world decide to demand compensation for the negligence of the People's Liberation Army. Would a dictatorship that is extremely wealthy have a reason to cover up its negligence in a global pandemic? I'll let you answer that for yourself.